secrets I wrote, virtual threat, keystroke kill, identity hidden I fulfill. Cyber assassin, that's my prowl. Codes in hand, you'll fall. Hack and strike, chaos I make. Cyber realm, my domain to take.
I've already begun my hike here. I am back out here closer to Picture Rocks this time. This last time I ended up to this left hill where I was trying to get to this mountain here, and I ended up at that one. So I just kind of got on top of our tallest vista that I can see before I lose sight of my truck, memorizing my path back because I don't want to do an extra 1.5 miles this time. It's too hot. I got to get this done in about 3 hours this time, because that was just insane last time. It was too hot, but today it'll be probably 110, and I don't want to be out here when it's 110. Interesting find. I haven't gotten too far out here, but I just found some, looks like possibly malachite, turquoise, copper ore, all the good things that run with copper. Right here, it's a huge vein of it, which is cool because I know if I look around here, I may find some, what is it called? Chrysocolla. I really like chrysocolla better than turquoise, even though it's a little more crystalline and softer. It's much more vibrant color. It's a beautiful stone. You just have to make sure and back it well so it doesn't shatter if it ever gets hit or dropped. But that's a cool find out here. We got a mineral deposit, people digging out here. So obviously there's prevalent mineral deposits that people are already coming out here and just exploiting. Probably covered it back up so people don't see it. I'm not out here for that, but I noticed it. Listening to the desert before I drop down this hill and lose my vantage point. I think I'm going to go straight across to the next hill, get my next vantage point. I may just go over the hills and see how that lands me. So that second hill looks like it has terracing, which is always a sign of civilization, right? For me, I've been trying to find the two hills. One's gold, one's kind of a greenish mineral. And I believe it's either right there on the other side of that second hill or the one just beyond it. That's today's goal. I don't really care to get to the mountain today. It isn't a huge ordeal. I just want to check out that canyon that I've seen. And when the temperature is better, we'll go ahead and check out the mountain out there. I still need a hiking partner, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't found anybody with the stamina for one, nor the interest to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and get ready and get out here at 5:30 before it's hot and get on it, you know, pull a hike and enjoy it. That's the most important part, is and enjoy it, because quite honestly, what's the point in taking somebody with you who doesn't appreciate what it is you're doing and not only takes it as kind of a chore, but possibly just doing it for favor and not for flavor, which I do it for flavor because I enjoy coming out here and observing what I find. So, I mean, obviously a bird was eaten here. It's hard to tell what kind of bird. I mean, out here I'd want to say a dove, but those feathers are rather large and fluffy. Still, I'm gonna go with dove. At any rate, the dove was eaten there. Kind of cool. But I sure do enjoy, rather than sitting at home or, you know, trying to work, or, you know, I love to do my projects and everything, but you gotta have your unwind, your physicality time, the time that you push your body, because there's a whole thing about you can never truly rest unless your body is exhausted. And if you never exhaust your body, then you're never going to get to the point that you actually get to the rest state. You got to finish that energy off. And I think in our current societal dysfunction, you know, misalignment, you know, a lot of people today, I think, look to television, the internet, you know, to get their release, to get their gratification, to get their sex. And, you know, I'm here to say there's a whole thing about retaining your essence and, you know, the alchemy of the Philosopher's Stone. I mean, it's just a goose chase if you look at it literally, but if you consider the figurative, you know, lesson of the whole point of the story of, you know, the search for the Philosopher's Stone, yeah, quicksilver and, you know, all these different analogy type words are used to describe the components that create the Philosopher's Stone, the essences, right? But the truth is, it's just sexual restraint. It's fortitude of will and, you know, gathering your intentions and directing them fully and willfully towards good things that, you know, may not necessarily even be a construct of your own thoughts and desires. Sometimes, if you're just walking the path, you find what you're supposed to be doing rather than looking for it, or it can even find you, and you get to the point where you just start accepting what's in line with you rather than looking and searching for it. You accept what is and isn't for you on the path you're on. That way you can be comfortable with where you are. The whole point of the Philosopher's Stone is, well, how can you create something that can manifest your destiny if you can't retain it? If you can't retain your own will and your own strength and your own essence, the distillation of you, that is the seed that causes you to be recreated within the proper fertile egg, that essence isn't meant to be purged constantly, nor without proper intent or desire. Misspent intent, well, there is the sin, you know, and whether you believe in God or not, or sin or whatever, it's still a woeful act. It's a sad thing to see. It's like watching somebody burn their money at the casino, just throwing it away. Well, you need it, you know, but they have it, you know, and they'll get to the point where they don't have it. And then they're like, why? What happened? Oh, misspent. lack of discipline, lack of restraint, lack of focus, lack of will, direction. The internet, phones, all these devices have given unfettered access to sexual desires that humans were never meant to have. And quite honestly, they're not having it. That's the worst part of it. It's the illusion of having something that means something that is nothing. That literally is just a drain, like a succubus, like a literal demon that is disembodied. But still has an effect and still draws power. More power, than, there's some crazy statistic on the ratio of porn on the internet versus everything else. And I think it's literally taking up more space than anything else as a sole entity on the internet, which is disgusting, right? I mean, how can, with all the things that are going on in the world and the limitless capabilities of humanity through thought and concepts and conceptualization and imagination and manifestation, to disregard all those capabilities and put it into a simple thing as just need release constantly is demeaning the species. At any rate, the Philosopher's Stone is obtained by retaining your essence and redirecting it towards intentions willfully and intentionally. But they must be clear and they must be found to be desirable and, I want to just go ahead and say lawful by spirit itself. If spirit sees justice in anything, it doesn't matter if it's confusing, if you don't understand it, if you're driven and you're moving forward in true faith, if spirit wants it, it'll happen. That's the true place of peace, is understanding that nothing's really up to you. What will be, what will be. What will be, will be. All right, I like that song from Don't Mess With Our Zohan. Mashi Baba, Mashi Mashi Baba. I'm pretty sure in Yiddish it means what will be, will be. Mashi Baba. What will be, will be. And that's real, From there, what do you have to fear? Quite honestly, like I always say, protect yourself. But still, be open to what comes rather than searching for what you want. What's in front of you is what you have. Bird in the hand, two in the bush, right? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, because you don't have those birds in the bush. They're just over there being observed, but you don't have them, but you've got one in your hand. Do you let it go so you can get the two? Well, that goes into man's sense of selfishness and possession, possessiveness, and then it drops right into jealousy, doesn't it? Possession, jealousy, possessiveness, they all are derived through obsession. Well, I hate to quote serial killers, but Jeffrey Dahmer said that there was a commonality between all criminality. And he said that the core root of all criminality is a deviance in sexual desire. Okay, disgusting human being with a horrible record. But also, I think he's risen in the psyche of humanity, just like Manson and all these horrible people that we've elevated for some weird fucking reason. It's not like I elevate them. Society did that. I don't understand why. I question that sometimes, but whatever. Intelligence. Whether it comes from madness or greatness or peace or love or war. Humans, we seem to gravitate towards intelligence, and you know, a horrible person, but intelligent, undeniably. And well, and having said that, you know, I read that, I think I was like 16 or something, and it's like, okay, you know, maybe I was older, but I do recall reading that he had said that about, you know, people starting out fresh in a sense. And this is kind of me paraphrasing on the thought. Starting out fresh, and then, you know, accumulating circumstances and events that happen in our lives that culminate in what we believe and what we allow and what we do as people. And somewhere in the search for sexual gratification and then pleasure, that's where the evil takes root, right? I mean, trust me, I am in no way railing against sex and desires and obtaining them. It's essential. We would not be here, none of us, without it. But at the same time, restrain in the self-gratification is the point that I'm trying to make here. Is, you know, self-pleasuring is self-degradation. It's throwing your own power away to something else to use because it recognizes the strength that you are giving away. Strength that you could use to manifest your own future, your own fate, your own dreams. Throw it away to inorganic beings that are just waiting to devour your essence. And unfortunately, people don't see it as anything else but a toss in the wastebasket or down the toilet or down the drain or whatever, you know. And I don't want to completely let the females off the hook here, because let's be real, sexual desire is a two-way street. And I myself have had plenty of relationships that I felt that my partner had unquenchable desires that I wasn't even interested in trying to fulfill, because I knew that it would drain me beyond me being able to live life the way I needed to. And that's just a consequence of being real. So, healthy relationships and desires and healthy release, but also retention and restraint. And, you know, I'm just going to say it, celibacy, you know, it's a thing. And I think people in this world of sex sells and commercials and porn and, you know, constant bombardment of the ideology of, you know, you need to be sexy and you need to be desired, or, you know, if everybody doesn't have their eyes on you, you don't count, is just a narrative. It's a story. And, you know, I don't live that way. I don't listen to any of that. I see it, so it doesn't affect me. Let me put it that way. I see it, so it doesn't affect me. I don't care about being perceived a certain way. I don't have a story that I necessarily need others to see when they see me. I'm good just as I am. And there's a comfort in it that I never could have had, I think, had I not realized the importance of retention of essence and just, it's just a self-love thing. It really is. It's caring for yourself that allows you to see that tossing away your energy is bad for you. And it's not absolutely obvious, because just like alcoholism, and unfortunately for a lot of people, drug use. It's a family thing. It's a behavior that's learned from birth. It's something you're taught long term to embody and to believe and to live. A lot of times as you're growing up, you may even have moments where you say, no, this ain't right. I shouldn't be doing this, but sometimes you'll be told, no, it's fine. It's fine. But what's your heart say? I mean, your heart said something. So, you didn't listen then, but there's never a moment where you can't decide differently. That's the beauty of life, is at any moment it could completely change. All you have to do is decide, but here we go back into the dark night of the soul, and diving into the subconscious, and what do you really feel, what do you really think, and allowing the things that you immediately thrust to the shadows and push to corners, and you need to basically punish and put in the that's not real box. Okay, when you get into those positions where you feel so certain about things, it's 100% black or white, I'm starting to find that that's the time to question the most. It really is. Because when you're 100% certain, it a lot of times means you don't want to think about it, look at it. You've decided a long time ago that that's exactly what it needs to be, because thinking about it or dealing with it may bring up something that takes a lot of energy and may even cause a life-altering change. And who wants to change their entire lives? Especially a lot of us spend a lot of times cultivating a particular life. And the idea of just changing it can be rather disturbing, scary. But for those of us who look at the shadow and say, why the hell am I feeling this? Or why the hell am I thinking this? Why is this so black and white for me? Is there something there? And start looking into it. I found a lot of my black and whites, because, some black and whites are people that put a black and white on you. You know what I mean? Like in sexuality or race or those kind of things. Sometimes it's a outside black and white put on you, and still you gotta look into it and check it. But sometimes those can be more confusing. Like I had, like most of us, to go through that moment on the sexuality side where I'm not gay, and I'm not interested in men in that way. That being said, I did take the moment to just consider, because it was very black and white for me for a lot of time. But when I deep dove and really did my reflection, although I am not in the camp, I don't mind the humans that are in the camp are fine with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can eat together and hang out, and I've worked with a lot of gay people. Can't say I have a lot of gay friends, but I have had plenty of people in my lives that I would call friends. Like, we don't go hang out and eat together, but at the same time, we do have conversations, and I don't feel any bad way about what they have chosen for their lives. I just don't agree with it, and I want to say okay. And we've been in this whole big thing for the past 8 years or so where you couldn't even say something like that out loud, like, I don't believe in this. All of a sudden it's hate speech, but it's not, because I love everybody. I care for everybody. I think everybody should have their own choice to live their life however they want. But at the same time, freedom of speech says that I can say whatever I want to say as well. And whether it's hateful or not, you can too. You know, we can disagree, and damn it, that's perfect. That's America. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is to live in this country and have the freedom to believe and say what you believe, and nobody can say that you're wrong or persecute you for it. It's in our Bill of Rights. You know, people literally fought and died for that right. So, whew, felt for a while like we were going to lose that right, man. But I hope to God we haven't, and it's actually real that we can, again, speak our minds without fear of persecution. Because that's exactly what it is. If anybody tells you you can't say what you feel, you are literally being persecuted, whether they agree with you or not.